Imagine waking up on a normal morning, thinking the universe is predictable, only to discover that reality itself has just rewritten its rules. March 12, 2026, started like any other day, yet what unfolded is something that challenges everything we thought we knew about physics. At exactly 4 UTC, an object we call 3I, Atlas was roughly the size of Earth. Just 60 minutes later, at 5 UTC, its Coma, the cloud of gas surrounding it, had ballooned to a staggering 1.5 million kilometers in diameter. Let that sink in for a moment. In just 1 hour, this object didn't simply grow, it exploded outward, outpacing even Jupiter in size. I'm Michio Kaku, and for decades, I've explored the edges of theoretical physics, black holes, string theory, multiverses. I've studied the impossible, and yet, even with that experience, what the James Webb Space Telescope and the Atacama Large Millimeter, Submillimeter Array have just observed is unlike anything we've ever seen. This isn't a theory. It is happening right now, inside our solar system, and it defies every conventional model of cometary physics. Visualize it this way. You have a pot of water sitting quietly on your stove. Suddenly, without heat, without any chemical reaction, it expands to fill the entire room in the blink of an eye. That is the scale of what we just witnessed, 240 million kilometers from Earth. Initially, NASA's Deep Space Network flagged the anomaly, but the telemetry data seemed impossible. Engineers assumed a sensor glitch, a calibration error in the Deep Space Station 43 antenna in Canberra. But then came visual confirmation from the Subaru telescope in Hawaii. This was real. The Coma expanded at 400 kilometers per second. Not fast explosive, violent. And yet, perfectly symmetrical. Consider the energy required for this. Billions of tons of matter, accelerated uniformly at such extreme speeds, demands a source of energy far beyond what a standard comet could produce. A typical comet is a chaotic, messy object, outgassing as ice sublimates. Not Atlas. Atlas behaved like a controlled release. Solar wind, which would normally stretch a comet's Coma into a tail, failed to distort it. This object retained its shape, becoming the largest single structure in the inner solar system aside from the Sun, achieving this scale in the time it takes to watch a single TV episode. And the implications aren't just about size. A celestial body that can expand its cross-section tenfold in an hour changes how it interacts with solar radiation, how it experiences drag, how it moves through space. It's no longer the same object as yesterday. The physics have shifted, the rules have changed, and the question haunting astrophysicists isn't how it grew so fast, it's why this is happening at all. The chemical signature detected in the cloud hints that this expansion wasn't accidental. It was a reaction. To understand the gravity of this, consider what 3I Atlas was before this morning. Discovered in late 2025, it was catalogued as a hyperbolic comet, a frozen rock, roughly 15 kilometers wide, drifting from interstellar space. Predictable. Its orbital math was boring, a straight trajectory. Until 4:12 UTC on March 10, 2026. The first anomaly wasn't visual, it was gravitational. The Deep Space Network's antenna in Madrid detected a sudden, massive Doppler shift in the return signal. Normally, comet outgassing produces tiny non-gravitational accelerations, negligible in scale. But Atlas's velocity instantly changed by 2.4 kilometers per second. Pause to consider that. A mountain-sized rock, 240 million kilometers away, accelerating faster than any chemical rocket humanity has ever built. Skeptics might chalk it up to sensor error, but science demands verification, and we got it. NASA flagged the shift. ESA's Gaia spacecraft independently verified the astrometric position change, and Subaru cross-referenced optical brightening. 3 independent methods, 1 conclusion. This was no glitch. This was a physical event of immense, almost unimaginable power. Just 30 minutes later, anomaly number 2 appeared. The Coma expanded to the Jupiter dwarfing size of 1.5 million kilometers. Standard thermodynamics dictates that a gas expanding so rapidly in a vacuum should cool almost instantly, nearing absolute zero. But the James Webb Telescope's NIRCam saw the opposite. The core's temperature spiked to 800 Kelvin, 500 degrees Celsius. A frozen rock that should be solid ice at minus 200 degrees Celsius was now glowing from the inside out. Consider the energy required. heating a 15-kilometer rock to 500 degrees Celsius in under an hour demands terawatts of power, more energy than the combined nuclear arsenal of Earth released in 60 minutes. A natural comet has no internal power source. It cannot self-heat, it cannot steer, yet Atlas is doing both. We ran every conceivable theoretical model. Could this be a collision? No. Collisions produce chaotic debris and irregular expansion. Atlas shows symmetry, perfect control. Its cloud remains centered on the nucleus, defying gravitational expectations. A 15-kilometer rock lacks the gravity to hold such a cloud. Something else is at work. And that brings us to anomaly number 3. The Atacama Large Millimeter Array analyzed the molecular composition of the cloud. Expecting water, carbon dioxide, or methane, scientists found something entirely unprecedented: ionized titanium and vaporized iron. These metals vaporize near 3000 degrees Celsius, far above the 500 degrees Celsius core. Where is this heat coming from? The sun is too distant, space offers no friction, no chemical reaction can explain it. Even Dr. Abi Lobo at Harvard, a proponent of artificial interstellar objects, called it unprecedented. By 6:15 UTC, the Subaru telescope detected rhythmic pulses in the Coma every 13.8 minutes. A 15-kilometer rock spinning that fast should disintegrate. Yet the nucleus is intact. Either Atlas is composed of material far stronger than rock, or there's an active process inside its core. The probability of natural processes producing this pattern, rhythmic light, acceleration, vaporized metals, is effectively zero. 4 million years of cometary observations have never recorded anything remotely like this. Just when you think you've grasped the scale of what 3I, Atlas, is doing, the universe throws another curveball. By 7 UTC, the Atacama Large Millimeter Array had completed its spectral analysis of the colossal cloud. The findings were astonishing. Not only were common cometary molecules absent, but the cloud contained significant amounts of metallic vapor, ionized titanium and iron. To put this into perspective, vaporizing these metals requires temperatures nearing 3000 degrees Celsius. We had already observed the core at 500 degrees Celsius. Where is the rest of the heat coming from? There is no friction in space, no chemical reaction known to science capable of generating that energy inside a frozen rock. Yet, the data confirmed it. The anomalies didn't stop there. At 6:15 UTC, Subaru's telescope captured a secondary phenomenon, a rhythmic pulse within the expanding Coma. Every 13.8 minutes, the brightness of the Coma increased by 40%, then dimmed again. In the world of cometary physics, this is impossible. A 15-kilometer object spinning that fast would tear itself apart under centrifugal forces. The ice and rock simply could not withstand it. Yet Atlas remained intact, pulsing like a heartbeat. The combination of extreme velocity, rapid heating, and rhythmic luminescence is statistically impossible, a scenario so unlikely that it surpasses the odds of winning the lottery every single day for a year. Then came the magnetic revelation. At 9:12 UTC, Hubble's Wide-Field Camera 3 captured a structure no one expected. Inside the massive glowing sphere of gas was a coherent, luminous torus of plasma, exactly 2,000 kilometers in diameter, encircling the nucleus. Plasma doesn't form rings naturally in comets. Plasma requires a strong magnetic field to remain confined. Yet here was Atlas, a 15-kilometer rock, generating a magnetic field of 40 Gauss, roughly 80 times stronger than Earth's. The implications are staggering. Where is the iron core? Where is the dynamo? How is a comet producing a magnetic field that rivals planets? But the magnetic field is more than a curiosity. Plasma trapped in a magnetic field acts as a particle accelerator, producing a radiation belt. Right now, that belt is beaming a signal directly at Earth. Not random static, not a pulsar or quasar interference. A narrowband radio transmission at 1,420 MHz, the hydrogen line, the same frequency SETI has monitored for 60 years. And the signal is clear, repeating a sequence of prime numbers. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, then repeating. The first reactions from Earth's radio observatories were disbelief. The Green Bank telescope initially assumed interference, but the source was real, 3I, Atlas itself. Within 30 minutes, ESA confirmed the signal, followed by China's FAST telescope. In 70 years of radio astronomy, we have never received a coherent, mathematically structured signal from a comet within our solar system. The combination of rapid expansion, rhythmic light pulses, vaporized metals, magnetic fields, and now a mathematical broadcast is beyond anything known to science. This is not behavior, this is intelligence, or at the very least, it is technology. By 8 UTC, all observations aligned. Atlas had expanded to Jupiter's size, began pulsing, vaporized metal, formed a magnetic field, and now broadcast prime numbers. The conventional comet model, the dirty snowball theory, is dead. Completely obsolete. We are watching a process, not a rock. And this process is escalating. The next set of data is even more confounding. Doppler radar from Goldstone shows the gas is not dispersing randomly. Instead, it expands in concentric shells, like the layers of an onion. The first shell moves at 400 kilometers per second, the second at 600 kilometers per second, and the third at 800 kilometers per second. The spacing is precise, and the velocity increase is linear. This is not chaotic. It is ordered. It resembles a propulsion system, except there's no directional thrust. The expansion is perfectly spherical. Energy expended in all directions should cancel out, resulting in no net movement. So why is Atlas expending terawatts of energy to create a perfectly spherical, layered cloud of vaporized titanium and iron? There are three possibilities. First, it could be an exotic interaction with dark matter, something physics has yet to understand. Second, it might be a natural reactor, a georeactor, gone critical inside a cometary core. Both scenarios are profound in their implications. But the third scenario, the one the data seems to favor, is even more extraordinary. Atlas is creating a magnetic confinement system on a planetary scale. Essentially, it has built a magnetic fusion reactor larger than any human-made reactor, using the comet itself as the fuel container. The cosmic scale of this is almost incomprehensible. In less than an hour, Atlas has achieved what we struggle to replicate on Earth with massive, building-sized machines. Its pulse is increasing, its magnetic field strengthening, and at its current rate of expansion, the comet's Coma could intersect Mars's orbit in under 4 hours. Observatories around the world are tracking it live, the data streaming continuously. This is no longer a passive observation. We are witnessing an active, evolving system. Think about the implications for science. Atlas has turned thermodynamics, magnetism, and energy conservation on their head. The energy budget alone is staggering. It is outputting power comparable to a small star, yet the source is a 15-kilometer rock. Zoom out to the cosmic scale, and this tiny speck has bloomed into a glowing, pulsing sphere, emitting precise signals and manipulating matter on a planetary level. Every assumption we had about comets, interstellar objects, and planetary physics is being questioned. And the pulse is persistent. Every 13.8 minutes, Atlas signals, the magnetic field intensifies, and the structure within the cloud becomes increasingly defined. We are witnessing not only an object, but a process, a living or at least self-regulating system on a scale never before imagined. Is it preparing for movement, refueling, communicating? Every observation points to activity, not randomness. By now it is clear that Atlas is rewriting the rules. It is not a comet in the traditional sense. It is an entity, a system, possibly intelligent, possibly technological, demonstrating capabilities that we cannot yet explain. And as it expands, pulses and radiates, the questions mount: how did it acquire this energy? What drives its behavior? And, perhaps most importantly, what will it do next? As the hours tick forward, the scale and complexity of 3I, Atlas become almost impossible to fully comprehend. By 9:12 UTC, Hubble's wide-field camera 3 captured something that defies all known astrophysical processes. At the heart of the massive glowing Coma, instead of chaotic jets or irregular dust patterns, there was a coherent, luminous torus of plasma, perfectly encircling the nucleus. This plasma ring measures 2,000 kilometers across, and its presence implies a magnetic confinement system unlike anything ever seen in a natural object. Plasma, by its nature, does not form stable rings in comets. It requires a strong magnetic field to stay contained. And Atlas, this 15-kilometer interstellar object, is generating a magnetic field of 40 Gauss, 80 times stronger than Earth's. A field of that magnitude has profound consequences. It is not just holding the plasma in place, it is acting as a particle accelerator, creating a high-energy radiation belt and, most strikingly, beaming a coherent signal toward Earth. This signal, tuned precisely to the 1420 MHz hydrogen line, is not random noise. It is modulated, repeating a sequence of prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13 before restarting. Every major radio observatory that tuned in confirmed the same pattern: Greenbank, ESA, and FAST in China, all independent, all identical. In 7 decades of radio astronomy, a comet or interstellar object has never broadcast such a deliberate, mathematical signal. Think about that for a moment. An object arrives from interstellar space, appears to be a simple comet, and then, in under a few hours, expands beyond Jupiter's size, heats to thousands of degrees, vaporizes metals, forms a massive magnetic field, traps plasma into a torus, and broadcasts arithmetic sequences directly at Earth. This is not random natural behavior. This is organized, intelligent, or technological. The universe just handed us a textbook-defying enigma, and the clock is ticking as the object continues to evolve. The concentric shells of expanding gas reveal another layer of this complexity. Doppler radar shows that the shells are moving outward at precise, increasing velocities. 400 kilometers per second for the first shell, 600 for the second, 800 for the third. A normal explosion produces chaos. Atlas produces order. The energy required to maintain this spherical expansion while accelerating massive amounts of matter, vaporizing metals, and heating the core to thousands of degrees is staggering. Terawatts of power are being unleashed from a body no larger than a small city. From a physics standpoint, every law we have relied on is being challenged. Thermodynamics, nuclear physics, planetary science, all of it is under scrutiny. If Atlas is natural, it represents a form of energy and matter interaction we've never observed. If it is artificial, the implications are staggering. A 15-kilometer object building a magnetic confinement system the size of a planet, capable of manipulating matter and energy at will, sending coherent mathematical signals, and operating autonomously in deep space. Humanity is witnessing a technological phenomenon far beyond our current capabilities. And the timeline is accelerating. At the current rate, the expanding Coma will intersect Mars's orbit in less than 4 hours. Observatories worldwide are tracking every pulse, every expansion, every fluctuation. The signal continues to repeat with absolute precision. The magnetic field is intensifying, the plasma torus remains stable, and the metallic cloud continues to expand in concentric, layered shells. Every new data point confirms what we feared and marveled at earlier. This is not a passive object drifting through space. This is a system actively managing its growth, energy, and communication. Physicists and astrophysicists are already beginning to confront the implications. If the spherical expansion is being maintained intentionally, it suggests hydrostatic equilibrium enforced not by gravity, which Atlas lacks, but by a controlled magnetic or energetic system. That level of control over matter on a planetary scale, in a vacuum 240 million kilometers from the Sun, is something no natural comet could achieve. And yet, Atlas does it. This forces us to confront 3 possibilities. First, it could involve an exotic, undiscovered interaction with dark matter, a phenomenon that would rewrite physics as we know it. Second, it could be a natural reactor gone critical inside the comet. An event so rare, it might only occur once in the history of the universe. But the third, most compelling scenario, is that this is technological, an object employing controlled fusion, magnetic confinement, and energy manipulation at scales that humanity cannot yet replicate. Essentially, Atlas may have built a planet-sized fusion system in under an hour. The significance of this cannot be overstated. We are not merely observing a comet or interstellar visitor. We are witnessing a process, an ongoing, evolving system that could redefine our understanding of energy, technology, and the potential for intelligence beyond Earth. Every observation, the expansion to Jupiter size, the rhythmic 13.8-minute pulse, the metallic vapor, the magnetic torus, and the prime number broadcast points toward a level of complexity that challenges everything in our textbooks. And the story is far from over. The data continues to stream in, live, and the object's behavior evolves by the minute. Scientists are working in real time to model the magnetic field, predict the expansion, and understand the signals. The countdown to Mars crossing is underway, but even beyond Mars, the ultimate intentions or consequences of Atlas remain unknown. This is not speculation. This is real-time, verifiable observation, and the world is watching as the universe unfolds one of its most enigmatic phenomena in modern history. What we are seeing challenges the limits of physics, astronomy, and our imagination. Atlas forces us to ask questions that we have never had to ask. How much energy can a small object generate autonomously? Can matter be manipulated at planetary scales in a controlled, deliberate fashion? And most urgently, if this is intelligence or technology, what is its purpose? Communication? Construction? Observation? Something else entirely? As we continue to monitor, it is clear that humanity is witnessing a historical event, the emergence of an object operating at the interface of matter, energy, and information, with capabilities that rival the most ambitious human engineering on a cosmic scale. We are no longer passive observers of space. We are participants in a phenomenon that will shape our understanding of the cosmos for decades to come. So, stay tuned. Watch the data streams, follow the signals, and prepare for a revelation unlike any other. 3. Atlas is not a visitor, it is a process, an event, and a message rolled into one. The clock is ticking, the pulses continue, and the universe has opened a door to something humanity has never encountered before. If this fascinates you, share this video, subscribe for real-time updates on 3i, Atlas, and hit the notification bell because what happens next could change everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos.